Is Spencer Lee the freakiest athlete of all time? Or is he a complete liar? Now in this video, of course, we're going to talk about Spencer Lee on his national championship victory in March, where he won the tournament and dominated everyone with no ACLs. That is right, 2 torn ACLs allegedly in his knee with his famous words,
"Excuses are for wusses."
Now we're going to be diving into a video, kind of reaction video, where Brian Sutterer, he is a doctor and he posts stuff on YouTube as well. He made a video about this 2 months ago. So we're going to dive in, we're going to see what he has to say, and we're going to find out. Also, my green screen fell out of the ceiling, so it's just casually sitting over there. It fell on my desk, made a little mess, but got to put that up. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into it.
I mean, eight days ago I tore my ACL in my other knee.
8
I'm
days
wrestling
ago.
with no ACLs.
This is going to go down as one of the wildest and just toughest moments in sports history. Welcome back, everybody.
Agreed.
I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and this is your #1 source for learning about the unique medical side of the world of sports. Spencer Lee shocked the sports world when he revealed after winning his 3rd national championship that he basically did it with no ACLs. He then gave us all some great motivation, saying that
Excuses are for wusses.
in this video we'll break down this wild story and how exactly this is even possible.
You know what, Brian? I'm sorry, it's not possible, but continue.
As always, if you enjoy learning about this unique side of sports, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy this video, and let's get started. Most people look at this story and say, wow, that's insane, he's so tough, and there's probably people who look at this and say, he's crazy and it was terribly unsafe.
Yes. Guys, wrestling with, if you're hurt or whatever, you much rather would, keep yourself healthy so you can, get yourself, prepare yourself, maintain yourself for life. I mean, this is like 2 torn ACLs and he continues to wrestle on it. Like, that's going to mess up your knees for the rest of your life. Like, anyways.
The first group is totally right, and the second group probably just doesn't fully understand the picture. Your ACL is one of the 4 primary ligaments that help stabilize the knee. It stands for anterior cruciate ligament and is found deep inside the knee joint. Now, cruciate means cross, and so both the ACL and the PCL basically cross one another and cross the midline of the joint. The PCL on the backside here is going to go more from the outside to the inside, and the ACL is going to go from the front of the tibia to the back of the femur, going a little bit more inside to out. If we hide the femur, we can see those 2 directions a little bit more, and you can appreciate here how the ACL and the PCL cross. They're cruciate.
Yes,
the ACL
yes,
is what we call a passive stabilizer of the knee, meaning it's not actively moving or changing. It's just like a rope between the 2 bones, helping to keep things in place. Number 1, it's going to prevent the tibia or the shin bone from moving forward past the femur, and number 2, it's going to prevent some rotational movement between the tibia and the femur.
So your leg stays on.
This means if you suddenly just cut the ACL, the knee's going to have a tendency to want to shift around. By far and away, an ACL tear in athletes is typically season-ending, and they go on to have surgery, which makes what Spencer Lee said all the more shocking. So how is it possible for someone to wrestle at this level with a torn ACL? Well, remember I said the ACL is a passive stabilizer. That means we have active stabilizers with our muscles that provide more support to the knee joint. If we look at the ACL from the side, notice again how it's running from the front of the tibia to the back side of the femur. If we add in one of the hamstring muscles, the semitendinosus, guess what? It runs in sort of that same direction. If we hide the femur now, you can appreciate they're almost in identical planes for where those 2 structures run. Your hamstring muscles are crucial in providing active support to the knee to help the ACL in stabilizing the joint. This is why people are able to not have surgery and still function. They train those muscles, they train the hamstrings, the glutes, to provide that active support and stability to compensate for the passive support.
But the ACL, it's still important. Like, why do we definitely still need it?
Spencer actually tore his right ACL back in high school in 2017 and didn't even realize it reportedly for over a week. This tells me right off the bat that his biomechanics are such that he doesn't necessarily rely as fully on that ACL support as somebody else might. To be able to go that long as a high-level athlete without realizing something's off in your knee is crazy. It makes him such a unicorn when we look at the body and its function. He had surgery on that ACL tear, but then reportedly tore the ACL again in 2019 and again was able to compete and wrestle. So he's got this pattern in this history of having his body be able to compensate for this severe type of an injury. It was revealed he supposedly tore the left ACL at the Big Ten Championship final in just the first 30 seconds of the match, and I'll be honest, I went back and watched this, and there's really nothing that I can point to in the first 30 seconds where Spencer reacts in a way that he's just blown out his ACL. There's one moment here early on where he goes in, remember
his right knee was already messed up to begin with,
where he kind of pushes in forward and you can see that left knee collapse downward to the mat. as his trunk is sort of leaning over that side. This is a position where we could think of a non-contact ACL tear, but Spencer doesn't flinch. He doesn't react in any way. He puts more pressure right back on that knee and sort of does the same movement. So this is all I could find in that first 30 seconds. So I don't know if that was the move or not, but watching this, it did not look at all like an athlete who I could say, boom, right there, he tore his ACL. Again, probably giving testament to the way his body has been designed and the way he's trained to have that active support to be able to compensate with the ACL tear. Now let's address the safety piece. Spencer himself said that the doctors were amazed with everything he was able to do despite the ACL being torn. This means they actually put him through some functional tests and assessments to make sure he could still move, to make sure he wasn't completely unsafe out there. It's not like they willingly just threw him out into massive risk. There's also a spectrum of what else can be injured when you have an ACL tear. You can have everything from an MCL injury to severe meniscal damage to cartilage damage. So you can't equate all ACL tears to one another. I would guess there was minimal other damage here because you also have to realize that this is an Olympic wrestler, this is an elite athlete. The team and him are not going to jeopardize his health in a way that diminishes the rest of his career.
That's absolutely true. And that's why Spencer did opt out of the Olympic trials, which I think he would have just obliterated, as you can see, with Gable, obliterating the national championships, and he's killing it right now in the worldwide international scene. So I no doubt Spencer Lee would do the same, if not more damage than Gable, has done already on the scene. But yeah, that's why he just took it off. I guess it was, too much, but he needed that national championship. I remember him saying that he wanted to prove to himself or, because his dad was really against it. I saw in a video. And Spencer just wanted it so bad. So
these situations do occur. As crazy as it seems to the general public, it happens. Our body is able to compensate and adapt in ways that are just shocking. And so while, yes, this is wild, no, it's not a completely impossible story.
It's not impossible. That is crazy. This can actually happen. Spencer Lee is built different. I thankfully have not had any crazy, injuries or stuff like that. And knock on wood, but I'm so thankful for that. And for 2 ACLs to not be in your knees, both of your knees, and you go out there and compete at the highest level and dominate. It's something insane. Guys, if you want to go check out the original video or his channel, it's linked in the description. So, all in all, Spencer Lee is an anomaly. That is for sure. You're definitely not going to get a regular person who is going to go out there and both their knees, ACL is just gone forever, and they're going to compete at what he's doing. It's something that, if you are tough in that sense, or you don't feel as much pain as the regular person, it's all relative to what you want and what you want to accomplish. For him, it's his 4 national championships, and he's on his way to do that. And I'm sure, the Olympics, that's why he sat out, so he can, get ready for this next 4-year cycle. But definitely, all in all, if you're out there, if you're hurt, you want to battle through an injury like Spencer Lee did, if you think, just like him, excuses are for wusses, then you go for it. But remember, safety is the priority. Wrestling is only going to be in your life for 20 years, 25 years, and you have your whole rest of your life, 75 plus more years after that. So you got to really put your stuff in priority. But if you guys did enjoy or learn something or found anything useful, I would love if you guys would leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new, guys. I post a bunch of wrestling content all the time. Also, I post videos following my journey on my success, and that takes me hopefully to the top. So thanks guys for watching. We'll see you guys next video.